70 à tout.
What is going on, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's a conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. Yes, we are back. We are live. We are doing it not in the buff, but pretty close to it. With me, co-hosting this thing, is the homeboy Rob.
What's going on? It's good to see that you got rid of that deadweight host last week.
I know, but he just keeps coming back for more. I don't know. I tried that, that voodoo thing where you lay sticks in front of, your house, but just keeps coming back.
Yeah, it's it's kind of nice, kind of watching the stream as just an observer last week.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, you were in the live chat.
I was.
Yes, but
what
was your experience? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying that was about the only way I could communicate last week. So
right, yeah, through proxy,
exactly.
Vicariously, you can only speak vicariously through me. But yeah, well, before I get into that question, it's like, let's get this conversation started. So, what was your experience last night as a viewer?
It was pretty good. Like, it was, I liked, some of the, just being able to see your view of kind of like what we do, just like, looking at, obviously we always have this like we have a conversation every week,
mm-hmm.
But it was kind of cool to see you, monologue about certain things and, there's, how you, think on your own. Like, you were kind of not having a conversation by yourself. Obviously, you're speaking to like our fans and those who view this. But it was kind of different to see, more of the monologue conversation and just like something that we have.
Yeah, so it's kind of like my internal monologue. What?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, because normally what we'll do is like, you'll say something and it kind of sparks something in my mind, and then like we kind of have, that's normally how a lot of our conversations go. But in here, watching you do that, it was more of seeing like you kind of kept everything in like a certain line and connected in a way. It wasn't just over here to over there to these random points, but you kind of kept like a natural flow going through that from what I saw. So it was pretty interesting to see. It's like, hey, Andy probably could do this on his own without some lousy co-host.
I know, it was always being late. Just kidding. No, but that's good to hear because I don't know. For me, it felt like I was just kind of like ranting into the camera, into the microphone, and it felt that. I mean, last week for me, my perception was that it was almost like it was a stream of consciousness. Just just kind of like the things in my mind. But I guess, but hearing that from your perspective, that everything that I talked about was coherent, or it like each topic flowed into each other, kind of organically. That's always good to hear.
Yeah, don't worry. It wasn't the ramblings of the Unabomber that I was. You weren't like having some sort of like manifesto on YouTube Live or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. No. That's like that's kind of what I'm always afraid of it being perceived as. Oh my God, he's lost his mind. He's gonna kill us all.
Yeah. And then the government. Yeah.
Illuminati. Put the fluoride in the water.
Yeah. It was funny. There was a great episode of The Simpsons where Bart sells his soul, and towards the end of the episode, you just see it's cuts to a Bart's kind of like running through the city, mm-hmm. and there's Police Chief Wiggum and his son Ralph, and he just sees this like raping derelict that's like like ranting on the corner. You can't even understand. He's like, yeah, and it's like, Daddy's gonna go talk to this raving derelict.
And there's the first Simpson reference of the stream.
Oh, of course.
There it is.
You know, there's some people like they reference they reference Legend of Zelda, Metal Gear Solid, Star Wars, which is that happens in our stream too. But yeah, Simpsons is definitely.
But it's I mean, we talk about those things, but we really reference the Simpsons though, because I think if anything, especially like the good years, they kind of help shape a lot of people's, especially like people in our generation, our kind of like perspective or philosophy on things. Or it's like it helped to form our life's philosophies.
True. I learned to view the world in a very interesting lens through how you see it through The Simpsons, and like how they it was kind of a parody on American life. And I felt it was actually very very fair. It wasn't like it wasn't necessarily right leaning or left leaning. It was kind of more just like down the center, and which is the way it should be.
Right. I mean, because if you're gonna make fun of one side, you should, in fairness, make fun of the other side. Which I think that South Park has been doing the best job of.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. There's another. Speaking of The Simpsons, since we're heading down this rabbit trail, there's another really good episode where I believe, I forget the full premise of the episode off the top of my head, but it was an episode where Lisa was going. She was at this saxophone concert competition.
Mm-hmm.
And it was against like a bunch of the elementary schools, and like there's Springfield did like a better job, but then this other school they cheated by using like red, white, and blue glow sticks, which they weren't supposed to use in the competition.
Oh yeah,
and they won, and that team, and they won because of that.
Right.
And so Lisa's like, no, this is unfair. Like this is we have to, I'm writing a letter to get my way.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the episode, Bill Clinton comes in and I guess hands her the award or whatever, or some sort of award.
Uh-huh.
And it's he gives some really just terrible advice, and it's and Marge's that's a terrible thing to
yeah, because it's what was it? Complain until you get what you want. That was a lesson.
Exactly.
That was a lesson. Complain until you get what you want.
Terrible lesson. It's well, I'm a terrible type of president. It's how true. No truer words have ever been spoken.
Yes, exactly. Yes, Wild Bill.
You would think that it'd be kind of with a lot of things, it'd be very kind of liberal and left leaning, but not in that episode. It certainly wasn't. So like I said, it's pretty fair and down the middle.
Yeah. Because a lot of I guess leftist or lefty kind of stuff is really permeating a lot of TV shows now. And now they're they don't even attempt to try to obfuscate it or kind of do it slyly. It's just it's a smack. It's just it's like taking a weak old fish and smacking you in the face. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
And I mean, the most recent of this most recent example of this was last night when I watched was it that CW show Legends of Tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they one of the B plot was to save Barack Obama back when he was attending college at Occidental here in
Oh,
L.A.
good God.
And then like one of the characters needs advice, and she goes to go talk to him, and then she's like, "Oh, I really miss you," and she's like, that's like, that's them being on their knees for Obama, and
Oh, oh.
pretty much, and
I want
yeah, because
I
like
want to
because she's like because like yeah, like young Obama gives her some good advice, and then she kind of like has like that like, wow, that was really profound, and it's like I really miss you, and it's like that's kind of like what more extreme leftist people kind of because they essentially deified Obama, and so when you don't, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you like how many like, oh man, we're gonna miss you, Obama, like posts that I saw on Facebook right before Trump got inaugurated. And I was just like, he was just a man. He wasn't even that great of a president.
Yeah, it was.
And then
I think the last time I've watched the CW was like when Smallville was on the air.
Right.
Once they got rid of like any sort of like comedy or animated like cartoons or anything like that, I was like, I was done with that channel.
Yeah. Right, and I mean, like this season, like they were very like like very female like centric, like pushing like or because like like the captain, like the leader was a lesbian woman, and they had to, and then like one of the new heroes was a Muslim woman, and and it's all about like, oh, like women like can be heroes too. It's like, yes, we get it, fine, but statistically,
What?
women.
Yeah. Wait. You said something just so crazy right there. Women can be leaders too? What?
I know. I disavow
honestly,
Robert. I disavow.
Like, how cartoonishly like dumb do people really think? Like, do we think that society is like? No, like, outside of maybe like the 10 people left in the United States that maybe even think that way. Like, are you kidding me? It's like,
yeah, what is it?
These crazy like
they're and those people and those like, 10 people all belong to what's that real that Baptist church group?
Oh yeah, that crazy church group. Oh God, what were they called?
I can't think of them. Yeah, but like all the church members are related to each other, and like incest babies, and got flippers and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like that. That'd be an example of, okay, you know what? Those people probably like definitely have some sort of crazy sexist like view of the world, and like they also have a crazy biblical view of the world too. And what I mean, veterans' funerals and stuff. It's like, really, come on, man. Like that's disgusting.
Yeah,
but yeah,
something
like,
Baptist, something Baptist.
Yeah, I know it's some Baptist cult. It's not real. It's not the real church, but
right. They're not. Yeah, they're not. Yes. Their views aren't like really ground in the gospel. So
no, like not at all. But it's just you get like these the way that the media tends to push these agendas and like shove certain things down like the throat of America, for one. In a sense, it's kind of like, what like cartoonish like villain like I think that like what women, how they're voting, they're doing all this stuff, like hell, they're driving cars. Oh my God, like that's not possible. It's like, maybe if like we look over to like across the ocean in like places like the Middle East, yeah, maybe that's
like maybe like little where the neighborhood's a little sandy, you might have that attitude.
but no, no one's
No one in the West.
No regular person in the United States or in the West really believes these things. It's like, come on. It's
Yeah, I mean,
but
here's the thing. Like this is where the important distinction is. Like, if you want to be a leader, if you want to put in the time to get to like that kind of position, okay, fine, do whatever you want. No skin off my nose. But it's the idea that women are somehow being held back or being hindered in some way from attaining that kind of level. That's where I push back on. Because nowhere in the West are women more free to decide their own destinies.
Yeah, when there was a time where like women weren't able to vote. Okay, yeah, there's something that's probably was good that got rectified or.
But I also like to remind our viewers that it was men that gave women the vote.
True.
How sexist were they if they decided to say, okay, we'll give women the vote. Also, they gave the women the vote without any of the responsibilities that come with it, like for men. Because before, like from the founding of our country to when they extended the vote to other men, it was all landowners. People with skin in the game.
Yep.
But it wasn't. But then, like when they decided to let all men vote, then the men had to not sign up, but they would be if there was a war and a draft was required, then they would the men would be drafted, or or in more local or municipal areas, the men had to volunteer for bucket brigade, firefighting duty.
Yep.
But for women, like like none of that. There's no risk. There's no what is that? What is that form you have to sign when you have to fill out when you're 18? It's like the something service.
It's selective service.
Selective service. That's right. Selective service thing. And actually, a lot of women back during when they were when the suffragettes were campaigning, a lot of women said that they didn't want the vote because they knew of all the responsibilities that came with it.
Yeah, and that's not something that's told in history books. It's like it's not because they're like not because they were like just browbeaten by their husband, but like there was responsibilities that came with being able to vote and have a voice in in America.
Right. It's called having skin in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's and yeah, because everyone the idea is like these courageous women were were just like not gonna have this anymore, and they like went out and they they smashed through that glass ceiling and it's like, no, we're gonna vote now. Just like but were they fighting for those responsibilities that came with it? I don't know. Or did men decide to just give it to them and just like, oh, we'll just give them a pass? They don't have to do they don't have to do all the crappy stuff, but they still get to have their say. Which I mean, just going by the kind of the logic that the left tends to go by is that doesn't seem very fair.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem very fair. That a certain class of people has to do all the shitty stuff, while another class doesn't. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But see, it's like they want their cake and they want to eat it as well. It's like can't really do that.
Yeah. True. Dude, I don't know if I brought this up. Well, I'm kind of doubling back. But with the whole South Park thing, but Did you hear that the creators came out as Republicans?
Yes, yeah, I had heard that.
Yeah, I
I
forgot if
heard that.
I forgot if I mentioned it, but yeah, last week the South Park creators came out as being Republican, and it was great because they did it at this award show, which was like full of like progressives and like kind of lefty Hollywood types, and they had and to introduce them, they got Larry Elder. And for those of you who don't know who Larry Elder is, he's a conservative uh, uh, talk radio personality.
Great. He's a really
And
great guy.
yeah, he's a really great guy. He's written a couple books, but he had Larry. They had Larry Elder come out and like announce them or introduce them. And at the end of their speech, it's like, "Yeah, we're Republican," and it's like, "Ha ha 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 ha," And then there was kind of like some laughter that came from the crowd, and they're like, "No, seriously, we're Republicans."
Well, even and they've like since then they've said it's like if you want to be kind of like kind of like the punk rock guys in today's America, like you got to be Republican. Like those are like the kind of the wild gunmen of the West right now.
I mean, because who's it? Paul Joseph Watson. He came out and said it that conservatism is the new punk rock.
Yeah,
And it's true because he made the point that the left, it can't be the main culture, which it is now. It can't be the main culture and then be the counterculture. You're basically fighting it. That means you're fighting against yourself.
Yeah.
So the natural order of it would be then that the right has become the new punk rock. They're the ones sticking it to the man and being the voice of dissent. And it's only natural. So because nowadays you have back old school rockers coming out and saying kind of defending democratic policies, like whether it be about guns or speech and these are the guys that told that told a generation not to trust anyone over 30.
Oh man, like the Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent, like he's
the only one I still respect because he's still because he's still telling the man to go shove it.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, so yeah, he's the only rocker I still respect because he back in the day he might have been telling like the conservative right to go shove it, but now he's like telling the authoritarian left to go shove it.
Yeah,
so
I mean he's kept the same message, just like he doesn't like people telling him like what to do and especially the government telling him like what to do.
I think it's just like he's like his message and his brand is the same. It's just like he doesn't like anyone telling him what to do, and that's remained consistent throughout his career.
And in that sense, like he's a real conservative, and trying to conserve what the experiment of the United States of America is meant for. It's like this country belongs to us. Like there does need to be a central government that like kind of keep protects everything, but at the same time it's like this is our country. This is we own the government. We own we're able to protect ourselves. We're able to speak our mind and kind of kick tell the man to go shove it.
I mean, government by the people, of the people, by the people, for the people, right? And I forget. I guess I'm gonna be misquoting this, but I don't exactly remember who said it, but I want a government so small that that I don't even care, or I don't even know when they sneeze.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Or something like that.
Yeah, that's That would be great, actually.
You know, because I mean, oh, I actually saw this short video on the PragerU Facebook page. You know, and it was
Mm.
Adam Carolla and Dennis Prager. They're doing some sort of tour, promoting their new, I think, movie or documentary called No Safe Spaces.
Yeah.
And Adam Carolla was recounting back when he was young, and he'd go to the beach, and you could back when he was a young man, he can go to the beach and he could smoke a cigarette, he could have a beer, he could he could light up some fireworks. But now there's like a huge list, like a huge plaque, on a post, just as you get to the beach, and it says all the things that you can't do.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much illegal to be at the beach.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, how about no? Because that's our beach, because we pay the taxes, and so that's our beach, and we'll use the beach as we please. And I mean, we're not going to do anything obnoxious, but we want to be able to use the beach as we see fit, not as
Yeah.
not as the government sees fit. And it's yeah, that's. I mean, if you wanted a government to be telling you what to do like constantly, then, or if we wanted one, then we wouldn't have had a war about it.
Yeah.
You
Pretty
know,
much.
we would have just been, we would have just, stayed with England, and we would have been good little servants. And we constantly, and the founding fathers would have just kept taking it in the ass, you know. But that's the whole point of the war, is that the Revolutionary War, is so that we can have a say in how to live and what we do with our land, and what we do with, or what we don't do with our land or property. Because what's it
Yeah.
to the government if you leave your property a little unkempt. Maybe you have like a few like tall, you have a few weeds on your lawn, or your grass is a little bit higher than most.
Oh God, don't get me started on the homeowners association. Those guys are that's the mob.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, I live in
Yep.
a like a townhouse complex right now, so yeah.
I mean, in one sense, I think it may have had good intentions, because it's like you don't want some guy like painting his house chartreuse, or like some disgusting color. It is kind of an eyesore, and you want your neighborhood to look nice and like somewhat kept up. But at the same time, where it's like it's become this crazy thing, like this crazy shakedown of like, oh, here, pay us money and then follow all these rules, and if you don't, then it's kind of, then we're gonna kick you out, or else. It's like, yeah, they're a huge, it's a mob front. It really is.
Too true. Too true. I mean, what was it? Every I'm always reminded of that rant in Demolition Man that Dennis Leary gives.
Mm.
It's like, oh, I want high cholesterol. I want clogged arteries. I'm the type of guy that sits in a greasy spoon. It's like, maybe should I have the giant T-bone steak with the mashed potatoes smothered in gravy. It's like, he's like, I'm the kind of guy that that might want to that smear green Jello all over them, whistling "I'm an Oscar Mayer Wiener," walking down the street, just because I had the inclination to do so.
Absolutely.
I always kind of think back to that rant, and just like, at the time I was like, I thought it was just kind of funny, and it was like kind of irreverent. But now it's just like, damn, that's what I want, right? Like when they outlawed the trans fats. It's like, well, what's it your business if I have clogged arteries? That's my business.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
one
not,
of
you
those
know,
things
I'm
where
not
it's
like,
like,
if I'm not on the, if I'm not on the, if I'm not on the government dole, then don't tell me what to do.
yeah, and you know, it's one of those things where, you know, if it isn't, you know, where it's like, well, if you don't want these things, then don't eat at those places. Eat something different. Like, it's not, you know, that's the great thing about the United States. You don't have to like be forced to do one thing. Like, there's
Right? There's no, yeah, there's
plethora
no
of
law saying you
places.
have to eat McDonald's.
Yeah, it's just they don't want to stop eating McDonald's, but like they're like, I want to eat McDonald's and be healthy. It's like, well, good luck.
That's a contradiction.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean,
and
this.
this coming from someone who just ate at McDonald's today.
No, this is completely anecdotal, but I remember back in the day, back when I was younger, and I worked at Goodwill. And you know, I worked in the back, and I was collecting. I took the donations, and I wrote like the receipts for your taxes or whatever. And people always like freaked out because I didn't do itemized lists. And it's like that's not the policy of Goodwill, sir. Uh,
How
but
dare
anyways,
you? How dare you not write this itemized list that I demand of you, even though I know that's not what what you guys do here.
yes, we only do quantities. You know, so 1 bag, 2 bag, box, 3 boxes, so on and so forth. We don't do itemized lists. But anyways, my first week working there, there was a McDonald's nearby, and so for the week, I went and I ate. You know, for lunch on my lunch breaks, I just ate quarter pounder with cheeses for a week.
It's a
And
damn good.
I mean, the first few days it wasn't too bad, but by that Friday, man, I felt so disgusting. And,
Yeah,
and I was, and by and I was getting, by the time, after my lunch breaks, I'd be like really sleepy and sluggish, and so, I switched it up, so I'd only treat myself to McDonald's like once a week, and then the rest of the week I'd eat Subway.
yeah,
And so, but then again, and so that was my choice. And, those are the consequences of my choice of eating McDonald's every day was that, I became, I got fatter, I got lethargic. Um, and, it was, it made me feel disgusting. And so I was like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. So, I chose to switch it up. I chose to only eat it once a week. And it really turned things around because I no longer had like that gross sluggish feeling after lunch, and I was able to keep up with my work, and because I did sorting too, so clothes, house, home goods, miscellaneous.
it
So,
was.
but it was all my choice though. It was all my choice.
Right.
No one had to beat me over the head and said eat healthier, and it's just
Yeah, was the one of my favorite comedians is Bill Burr, and he kind of
I
had a
love
joke
Bill Burr.
about
Oh my
like,
god.
yeah,
Had that
he
great
had a joke.
Southie Brooklyn Boston accent.
Yeah, exactly. And he had this one joke about like McDonald's, like we all like McDonald's, right? And it's like, and but there's those times where it's like you get that McDonald's breakfast, and after that first like bite of you're all pumped up, like you have plans, you have an agenda for the day. It's like, and after that first like bite of like a Big Mac or like this, the McDonald's breakfast, it's like, you know what? Fuck my dreams. Oh, I about died when he said that. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm like gasping over here. Yeah, because so funny. Oh my god. Oh yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
That's another kind of thing. You know, this is the first generation that's demanding less rights, if you can believe it.
Uh, I'm just flabbergasted
Right.
by that. It's incredibly ridiculous. Like what? Because no, what the thing is that none of this generation is being taught like what the importance of what it means to be an American.
True.
And
Right. Because
you know
yeah.
the other thing is, and I'm not an anti-immigration guy or anything like that. I think our country, because we're not a it's not we're not built off of like a nationality per se. We're built, we're a country that's built off of a creed and an idea,
Hmm.
and we want people who are of like mind and will, and that's what has made America great. So
Yeah. I
we've
mean,
had
like.
Europe and South America and Asia and wherever come and contribute to this experiment, and it's worked for 250 almost 300 years now.
Hmm.
And to to have a generation who's not only not being taught that, but then like they're pretty much telling us like, oh, everything about America is awful, and it's really socially, the
And
communists
yet people
won.
still want to come here.
Yeah. Oh
I mean,
well.
yeah, we suck so much. People are coming in here illegally. That's how sucky America is.
Yeah. That's the and to me it's like it's a travesty, and I wish that every time I get a chance to talk about like how you know American American civilization, like what it has meant to the world and why we are so important, not because I'm I just it's because I want to preserve the liberty and the what makes this country great. And it's not, I'm not, because people look at me, it's like, well, you're just a cis male white guy. It's like, so I'm obviously the most evil and corrupt person known to man in today's day and age. But it's not I don't care if like what color skin you are or where you come from. If you buy into the American idea, and while yes, may have made some mistakes in the way that we treat people, or to be honest, I mean, history can be a dark place, but we don't live in history. History has happened, but if we stay true to the idea of America, it's that's what's really important,
Right.
and that's what we need to talk to.
Yeah. I saw this live stream of Andrew Clavin. He was giving some speech at a school back east, and someone was asking him about American exceptionalism.
Hmm.
Um, or I think one of the question asker was asking what makes America so so special or whatever, and Andrew Clavin had said like, oh, because American exceptionalism, and then the questioner kind of like retorts back, it's like, oh, what's so great about America? And then Andrew Clavin went on to say, no, 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 not that, you're conflating greatness with exceptionalism. I'm meaning it more as like, there hasn't been a country like America, so we are the exception. And that's, and
Yeah,
that's what I mean by when I say American exceptionalism. Because there has never been a country like the United States that's
never.
granted as many rights and as many privileges as the United States has. And I
Yeah,
thought,
that's
I thought that was a great response. because people tend to kind of think that exceptional and greatness or great are synonyms for each other, but they're sometimes, but if so I think the way I think the distinction that Andrew Clavin gave was a very good one.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah, because when we talk about American exceptionalism, we're talking about there's never been a country like this in history.
Nope.
It's like we took all the best parts of other great civilizations like the Greeks or the Romans, and even England. We took all the best parts of those civilizations and we condensed them and we put them together and we made America.
Yeah, and you look at some of the papers and stuff of concerning the founding the founding and creation of the United States, and just the painstaking amount of time and thought that went into this country, and why we have certain rights that we have, and really how brilliant these guys were and the way that they created this thing is. I mean, they were really forward thinking in how they. This wasn't just done on some emotional whim. There was actual.
Yeah, it wasn't done
preparation and
it wasn't done at a rowdy night at the local pub. It's like John Adams, here, tossing him handing him a stein full of beer and I think freedom of speech is great. Me too. Let's put it in the Constitution. It's that didn't happen.
Yeah. It's and that's where the thing is where you look at some of the stuff that's happening today, and it really is kind of based off of emotionalism. Something happens outrage over something that's kind of something terrible happens. Well, let's have some moral outrage, and reality is we don't really know exactly what we're talking about, but because that person has suffered, or that all of a sudden makes them an expert on all of these policies when it really doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's the thing is, and everyone's so polarized over everything, where if from instead of actually having the discussion with with actual ideas, like our founders did, this is and just because someone disagrees doesn't make them an evil monster. It's no, this is the way that I see the world. This is why I disagree with your idea. But let me hear you out. Let's see if there isn't something that we can both take away from this conversation. And that's the thing that's being lost in this country is the dialogue.
Right. I mean, it's kind of it's having a debate or a conversation in bad faith.
Yeah.
As flawed as people as they are, I keep pointing back to the example of Barack Obama and John McCain during their during the race for the presidency back in 07?
Mm-hmm.
07.
Yeah, it was 07.
07, and they both people were attacking them. This one, I remember this one lady. McCain thinks that Obama's the worst. He's going to be the end of this country. He's a socialist. Blah 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 blah. And at an Obama event, someone kind of badmouthed McCain, and he's a racist. He's this. He's that. So on and so forth. And they both said the same thing, which was, no, ma'am. It's we just have different ideas about how to make our country great. It's just, we just have different opinions. But nowadays, you know, no, the more hyper emotional left, they just don't go into, they're not willing to uh, go into a conversation or a debate with anyone in good faith, because
Yeah.
because they are more prone to end up going into ad hominems and doing the personal attacks. I mean, a good example is that Hog kid,
Oh God.
because he goes out there and says like, oh,
Hitler Jr.
yeah, Hitler Jr. But you see him, going out there and he's like saying, it's like, oh, let's be fair to everyone, you fucking child murderer. Let's be fair to everyone.
But if you don't agree
you
with me,
you person who bathes in children's
you
blood.
have blood on your hand. Yeah. It's
It's like, oh, let's be fair. Let's be fair to everyone. You child abuser, because you don't believe the same thing I do. And just like, what?
Yeah.
You keep demanding civility, but yet you keep going around. Then you just you that goes out the window, and then you start bashing your opponent.
It's one of those things where it's the idea of having your cake and eating it too, where he's wanting to be a kid, and like I'm a victim of this crime, which is terrible. But then like you're also wanting to be a public figure and sharing these ideas, but like to ridicule and not wanting ridicule. It's like you can't have it both ways.
Right, exactly. He's a kid one moment when it's convenient for him, but then when he calls for a confiscation of all the guns, he wants to be treated like an adult.
Yeah,
it's just like nah. It's like pick one side or the other. You can't have it both ways. And it's completely acid, because Ben Shapiro, he was talking about it when he's like, I was writing articles back when I was 16, political articles when I was 16, and I was right over the coals for it when I was 16. And it's like, but he knew what he was getting into, because because he knew once he put himself out there to the public, then it's fair game for anyone to criticize him or even to ridicule him for his thoughts, for his ideas, and that's the risk you take when you decide to become a public figure.
Yep.
So I mean, right? And I mean, this kid, he's 17 now. I don't know, he's probably close to being 18.
Yeah.
So which is what happens when you stop being useful to the left.
Oh, he'll get tossed down the trash chute, with once
like yesterday's garbage. Yeah, like that Miss Universe chick that they pulled out of nowhere to try and bash Trump. But when's the last time you heard anyone talk about her?
Oh, not in a long ass time.
Exactly. When anyone the left has pulled out in the last 2 years.
And now that the
where are they? Lisa Machado.
Yeah.
Machado. Yeah, where is she? They brought her out to bash Trump to get her to get some weight, to put some weight into our credibility to the whole misogyny thing.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Didn't happen. They it's already kind of starting happening to Stormy Daniels, but they brought out Stormy Daniels to try and
now I was saying, now that the Russian narrative is dying down, no, here comes Stormy Daniels. It's
right.
in.
Oh yeah, he's an adulterer. It's like, yeah, we knew that.
Yeah,
we knew that already.
That, well before, and they're trying to they're trying to compare it to you look back and it's like, well, first of all, we already knew that this is who he was.
Yes.
And I okay.
Yes,
and,
it was a long-standing pattern of behavior with Trump, and for those of us who could deal with it and be like, okay, this is the guy he's he's not ideal. He's not ideal, but he's the one that we've got. He's better, and he's much better than the other person.
His track record with women and romance is pretty terrible. But first of all, it wasn't like I don't need my president to be a saint if he's running America well.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is it's funny because when 20 oh god now it's can't believe it's 20 years ago now, but like when this was the whole Bill Clinton scandal was going on, it's like, oh, it's just boys will be boys kind of like attitude. It's like, come on, like really, like now it's like, how could he have slept with these porn stars and models and cheated on his wife? It's like, this is not the narrative.
Like, so you're yeah. So it's like, so you're including Bill too, right? How horrible of him to abuse his power or position in such a way to cheat on his wife, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, the double standard. Like when I can't. This is partly why I can't watch the news on any on most levels anymore. I can't do it. It drives me insane.
True. I mean, I just watch everything just because I have to. I can't. I can't be a hypocrite and just. I have to hear everything, and then I'll make my determinations then, because even like, okay, the mainstream media might get it right, sometimes too, and like whatever point of commonality there is on a given story or whatever, and if I check it with like against some other sources, and it seems correct, and it's consistent, then that's probably the point that I should be listening to, and I'll whatever I come together from all of the different sources, that's probably more or less the truth.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's like I can't do it. Like it just drives me insane. Yet at the same time, I still do it just because it's you have to nowadays the understanding, like kind of defending liberty and what it makes America America. You have to keep up with what people are talking about, and just some of the craziness that's out there. Just so it's like, nope, can't. We can't have that. Like, I'm sorry. That needs to be.
I mean, with the whole like women's thing, it's just like, oh, he's trying to take away our rights. It's like, since he got into office, since he's been sworn into office, what rights has he taken away from women?
Exactly.
What right? Okay, what privilege has he taken away from women? Not a single, not a single goddamn executive order. Not one.
Not one that I can think of.
What was that?
Not any that I can see.
Right. Yeah. not any ones that I've heard of. He said, okay, so he said that he might defund Planned Parenthood. So what's wrong with you paying for your own abortion?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole nother
That's a whole nother thing that we don't have to get into right now. But
yeah,
suffice to say, me and Rob are both against it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah,
like what would be the harm? What would be the harm of you paying for your own abortion? They offer other services too. I was like, okay, then what's the harm of you paying for any of those other supposed services that they provide?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's crazy was that there was people who were of whether it be who are deeply religious people who really like along with myself are very opposed to like what goes on with that organization, and you're essentially forcing them to be a part of that, like a part of their dealings. That to me is not right.
And it was started by someone that the Nazis took notes from.
Oh yeah,
Margaret Sanger. Look it up.
Margaret Sanger is they're like, well, some of her views were a little problematic, but overall,
yeah, she said the Negro race must be eradicated.
Oh yeah, I mean
that's a loose quote. That's not an exact quote, but she basically said the Negro race must be exterminated.
Pretty much, yeah. And she was a horrible, horrible, horrible person.
Right? I mean, the freaking Nazis took notes from her. They took a cue from her. They're like, Fraulein has some good ideas. It's just like, but but again, you don't hear about such things. You don't hear about this in your classrooms.
We all think of was it Al Gore's inconvenient truth with global warming? It's like, well, that's an inconvenient truth of history that, oh, you know what? Let's maybe this person that we all look up to, maybe not so great.
Yeah, because I think one time I looked up Margaret Sanger like on I punched into Google, and on her Wikipedia thing, like the first thing that came out said like Margaret Sanger, educator. I was like, how to exterminate people?
Yeah, it's
just right. And also like people clamoring for I don't know, I'm kind of offshooting here, but I'm digressing, but it's still loosely linked. People clamoring for gun control. Gun controls are inherently racist because they were only implemented to make sure that newly freed slaves couldn't get guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so gun control has its roots within racism.
Yeah. And that's the it was kind of the the Dred Scott decision, I think, was like that. They can't not wanting them to be citizens because that would award them the right of being able to own arms and defend themselves, which would be not what they wanted.
Precisely.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, really insane stuff. So
I 3/5 and all that. Oh, wait, no, was that
no,
after?
That was oh, God.
Was that part of the Missouri Compromise?
Yeah, I had to look that back up again. My mind is just kind of,
right.
It's late at night. I've been working a lot this week, so I'm already like kind of wore out. But we might dive back into this because I find that time in history there was so much happening with the state of the country and everything that we should talk about it.
True. Very true.
Let's see. Anything that we're gonna be doing this week? Anything fun for you the rest of the week?
I don't know. I might make donuts.
Ooh. Donuts.
And there's your second Simpsons reference for this stream. Maybe that should be. I don't know about our viewers, but maybe that should be a game. Every Simpsons reference. It should be a drinking game.
Yeah, there we go. I'm thinking for me for this week, I'm a couple things. There's an outside chance I might be getting a new bowling ball
Ooh.
for my so I can actually like maybe do better in bowling,
Hmm.
and then I may go see Chappaquiddick this week as well.
Oh yes, that's
Speaking of inconvenient,
yes. Speaking of
yeah,
leftist hypocrisy,
yeah,
the complete lionization of Ted Kennedy, even though he murdered a woman.
yeah, kind of, and his big concern is like, I'll never be president,
Right?
even
Yeah.
though
It's
he
like,
actually, even though he almost was.
oh yeah, because he ran in like the 80s, right?
Yeah, he ran against
But he didn't win
Carter.
he didn't win the general. He was in the primary, but then he didn't win it.
I think he ran against Carter in '80, and I think lost Carter for the in the primary, and then
And that's when Reagan was.
yeah, and that was the Reagan Carter
Yes, because
election.
Carter was only one term.
Yeah, because Reagan ended up beating him because Carter was also a Simpsons reference. The history's greatest monster. uh,
I forget.
sorry.
Yeah, like the whole thing with with Iran. Uh, he was like he was like negotiating. Carter was negotiating with them all the way up until like the inauguration. Like he was like in the car on his way to the Hill, and he was still like hammering out the finer points
Yeah, I mean, it was
as
just
Reagan was
that
about to be sworn in.
pretty much. Um, and then there was, I think Ted Kennedy ran, or he tried to run again later in the
The mid
what
'80s.
was it? Yeah, I think but I don't think it went anywhere after that, which is
Yeah.
so well. We can all thank God for that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, God was watching our backs with that one.
Yeah, I think the only ones, well, I mean, there was JFK, who was, I think, pretty decent president. I think RFK would have been kind of an interesting president too.
Hmm.
For at least one thing, they're very anti-union, which I am. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
I'm not sure how I feel about unions because I understand like
it,
their usefulness. You know, being able to negotiate as a group, but my more liberty-minded self says like, no, I'll negotiate on behalf of myself.
right. There's I think in some cases, like, there's some smaller unions where it's like it is kind of it works, but then you get like the ones that essentially become like the mob,
Yeah.
where it's to me, I think like the this is probably a very polarizing thing, but to be honest, I think the teacher union that we have is really bad. That, and especially in like California, like I think it's ruining our education system, and it's
Mm. Actually,
it keeps.
yeah, the year I was graduating from from art school, uh, the kind of associate instructors decided to go in on a union
Yeah,
because there was like because the associate instructors, they weren't guaranteed, they didn't get health insurance or dental or all niceties that full time instructors got.
right.
And so they went in, so they invited this union that I think also represents they'll hold me to it, but supermarket workers.
Bag
So,
boys.
yeah, bag boys. Like,
Simpsons
hey,
reference.
scab.
Yeah. Simpsons reference number 3, by the
Yeah,
way.
Simpsons reference number 3. Drink.
But the it's not because the thing is there's some really like great teachers out there, and I think that when it comes to like these unions, like after a certain point, like those teachers aren't going to be going anywhere. They're pretty much because of the union, and so
yeah, they
in
just
essence, they don't after a certain time, it's like they stop like trying, like or like they
Yeah.
didn't care to begin with. They just worked hard enough to like.
Right, and I think, I think tenure should be revised.
Yeah.
Because I totally agree with the idea of like some sort of job security, but if there's no like kind of renewal process or some sort of accountability, I think there's room for abuse. Because then you get like half-assed teaching, and then you kind of get into, not that it's completely the reason why kids today are getting not even a fifth of the education that used to be offered in this country.
Yeah,
But
and yeah, it's just yeah. So like that's it. To me, that's an example of a union that's gone like hog wild, like where it's that's where those kind of like big organizations like that
mhm.
kind of definitely I'm not an advocate for. I think we could do without it.
Word.
Yeah. So, anyways, I might go see go see Chappaquiddick this weekend. Might be getting some new bowling equipment, so I can improve my score a little. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for me.
That's a funny looking strike, Robert.
Yeah, right. Well, this should help against that, like, because usually when you own your own equipment, it does help out a little bit. And I have enough skill. I just don't. Sometimes I think the equipment that I've been using is failing me. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna actually get my own equipment.
Yeah. For me, I'm kind of a down the middle bowler, but I wouldn't mind learning how to spin or add a little spin to it.
Now I will say this: I could probably teach you, or I have been able to teach like people. I don't know how I would be able to teach you though, Andy. Like you're.
I don't know, that's just one of those things that I have to teach myself, I think.
It's like I think you're on your own on that one, Andy.
It's like, put your hands like this. It's like how like what, Robert? Put your hands like what?
We'd have to make a specially formed like ball with like the holes in like odd places that honestly like no one would be able to use your ball except for you.
I know it'd be like a King Arthur thing.
Yeah.
Only I may use Excalibur.
That's what you should name your ball. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
See, we have fun here on this show too.
We make fun of each other's foibles and handicaps.
Exactly. What's that supposed to mean, Robert? No.
You know exactly what it means.
Yes, exactly. Oh man. Imagine if we were any other way.
I don't want to picture a world where that's not true, where it's a different way.
I know. Imagine if we were like soy boys.
This channel would not. Would this channel?
Yeah, this channel wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be half as fun as it is now.
Yeah, nobody would have fun on this channel.
Yeah, no one would have find a new
You know,
channel.
it makes me.
And you wouldn't be speaking as much because I would constantly be throwing your whiteness, and you'd have to constantly be flogging yourself because your whiteness.
Oh, true. Or burning myself with cigarettes.
Yes, exactly. Cat of nine tails. Like
Yeah.
it's like colonizer.
It makes me wonder, like, do those people, like, do they have any joy in life?
Probably
It
not.
just makes me. I can't imagine that any of these people have joy. Like, they just
No,
seem like
of
they're
course not.
so
Just look.
concerned
Okay,
for just nonsensical things.
a good barometer of which side you want to be on is laughter. How much?
Yeah, I
How
laugh
much?
all the
What
time.
kind of laughter? And I forget what the third criteria. I don't know. I'm just making this up on the fly, but yeah, those are the two criteria. Like how loud is the laughter, and God damn, I forgot the second part. I swear I'm not on drugs or anything.
Frequent?
Oh yeah, and how much they're laughing, how much they're laughing, how loud they're laughing. I think those are pretty good indicators.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I look at people like that. It's like, God damn! Do you have any fun? Like, do you ever take that stick that's in your ass and just rip it out? Just let your asshole breathe a bit.
Take that stick and go play some pool.
Yeah, there's just some people. It's like, man, you need.
Of course not, because everything in this world is a microaggression to them. And I'm not being hyperbolic or facetious. I literally mean everything in this world is a microaggression to these people, and that's why they have no joy. They have no joy in their heart.
They look like the New Yorker mascot with they was very aristocratic with their nose just turned down at everybody.
Or they're like that really or like that really unhinged person in the corner, just rocking themselves, trying to self-soothe.
Pretty much.
Like cis everywhere, cis.
How could I be white? Oh, I have so much privilege.
I know, so much privilege. But yeah, I mean, just imagine if God. It's funny because James, when I first met James and he found out that I went to art school, he kind of had a prejudice towards me, thinking that I was gonna be some crazy, leftist. And I can't fault him for that because if someone if I found out that someone had gone to an art school and is more on the creative side, let's just say, then I probably think that they were more on the left too. But he told me I was really surprised after I talked to you, and then I found out what your beliefs are and your kind of a mentality and your outlook on things. And
yeah. I knew as soon as you started making fun of your condition, that we were gonna be good friends.
Right? Because I mean,
because I always find if you can poke fun at yourself and just kind of it's no big deal. Those are the type of people I get along with. It's you don't take yourself so seriously that everything is just how dare you? It's that's who do you think you are? That type of attitude. I can't stand it.
I think that's why I also lean a little bit more libertarian, not because in my life I've had so many people do things for me that I'm at a point now where I want to do things for myself, or I try to do as many things as for myself as I can, because I know just because I know in my life I had to rely on the assistance of other people, and now that now that I am capable or more capable, I just rather do things for myself.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah. So if I was more on the left, then yeah, this show probably wouldn't exist, or it wouldn't exist uh in this manner. Because I just talk about like all of the ableist fucks that are constantly throwing their five finger privilege in my face.
Yeah, I'd definitely be having to get that leftist tears tumbler from the Daily Wire, just to kind of just point in your direction and magically fill up.
Right. Yeah, but it'd be one of those like mirror universe, sort of things.
Yeah, if there is a multiverse thing, like you'd probably be on the other side. I think you'd still have your long hair too. I imagine you'd have like
I probably would, and my goatee.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you'd have a man bun and a goatee.
Yes, and it wouldn't be the attractive one. It'd be the really gross soy boy variety.
Oh yeah, and you constantly have your mouth open, like like something's gonna get inserted.
Pretty much, it'd be a gape. It'd be a gape because of all the gasping I'd be doing and pearl clutching. But,
Yep.
yeah, pretty much. Oh God.
You're throwing up at this like hypothetical like potential
It's like it makes me physically sick.
Universe, Andrew.
Yes, it makes me to even entertain the notion. It makes me physically ill.
Oh.
Oh Jesus.
Oh,
yes,
man,
luckily we weren't. Luckily we weren't ever brought up on soy. So.
Yep.
I don't know. Even though I did eat tofu, but that was just part of my culture, so I couldn't help it. But I didn't like. I hated tofu, so I didn't eat too much of it. And I'm not lactose intolerant like the others of my Asian brethren.
Yeah.
So
I
was able to bypass soy milk altogether.
Oh yeah, like if I was like lactose, I'd probably go after like goat's milk or something different, but not soy milk. Soy milk, I've tried soy milk once, and that's not milk. It's just not.
I know, right? It's like when I get pissed off. It's like when I get pissed off about people saying like vegan pizza. It's not vegan pizza. Don't call it. Don't insult pizza by calling it pizza or vegan pizza. Just call it something else. Just call it a vegan pie. Call it a vegan pie. I'd be okay with that.
Let's call it what it really is, Andy. Shit.
True. Yeah. It was funny because
it's
funny with vegans.
Where, like you have like a veggie pizza, like that's actually pretty good. I've had that before, but like vegan, that's like even like the veggies and all. It's not good. Mm-hmm. It just I look at it looks sad.
Mm-hmm. And so that the dogmatism, that comes along with being a vegan is just kind of obnoxious.
Do you think that there are any conservative vegans?
No, not even one. Not even one.
I'm laughing at the possibility of that ever being true. I can't see it.
Right? I mean, because like one of the things, because I recently watched a stream of this one YouTuber, and she had mentioned that after 10 years of being a vegan, she decided to give it up. Because of health reasons, because she wasn't getting enough certain vitamins or minerals.
Yeah.
And so, she, and then she made a video about why she's no longer a vegan, mostly to do with health reasons. And then during like the live stream, like another YouTuber, like who's like a well-known vegan, who spreads the gospel of veganism, and like they had not a debate, but more or less a friendly discourse.
Mm-hmm.
But this vegan YouTuber was like constantly on like the moralness of veganism, and how like if you're not being vegan to the max, then you're not then basically there's no true Scotsman fallacy.
I'm a level 5 vegan. I don't eat anything that casts a shadow.
Right? 4. That's your fourth. That's your fourth Simpsons reference. Drink. But yeah, it was just like, because like this other person, she she also did it for moral reasons too, for like factory farming and the cruelty to animals and all that kind of stuff. But after like 10 years of it, like her health was just like going to shit. And then she tried to do like all the supplements and things like that, but it just wasn't enough. And then when she introduced protein back into her diet, like all of the problems that she was experiencing just like went away. And she even said like, oh, to me, veganism is about what is it? Being as moral as possible, for the sake of animals or whatever. This vegan YouTuber just like wasn't letting up, and it's like, so like, why aren't you, if you do, if you say that it's to be as moral, to be as moral as possible for the sake of animals as much as possible, then why did you reintroduce meat into your diet? And she's like, well, I told you already, it's for health reasons. Like, oh, but that doesn't but I'm holding you to your standards. I'm holding you to your standards, and you're not doing everything that's moral because you're still eating meat. And she was like, it's just kind of like this like infinite like feedback loop. It's like, well, I tried, and I did the supplements, but it wasn't enough, and it's just like 10 years of this, and like it was finally starting to like wane on me, and I couldn't take it anymore, and so. But and it was just like this constant like kind of like purity test. It's like, oh, well, you're not doing enough. Like even like I don't care if you're doing it. If you're doing it for your own health, you're still being selfish. You're still causing harm. Basically, that was the argument. But it's like that's retarded, because even the vegan diet isn't 100% cruelty free, because if you eat bread, then for sure, like hundreds of little creatures like rabbits and gophers and other small ground animals were killed in the threshers to harvest that wheat to make your bread. So even you are so if you eat that bread, you are not even reducing that much harm.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so, I forgot where I was going with this, but
well, my question was, is more of a, you think that there are any conservative vegans, and I can't think of any that I know of.
Right, exactly. But it's like also like, because they think like that, so you're saying that animals are the same level as humans. That's basically what they're saying. They're saying that the animals are at the same level of humans, and so like, and they always bring it back to like cannibalism. It's like, oh, well, you wouldn't like, ram a bolt through a human skull and eat their bodies. It's like, well, that's first of all, that's cannibalism, and that doesn't even happen within animals, because cows aren't eating other cows. Naturally.
Right. Yeah.
And so. so your logic is
But
already flawed
I was
because
kind of thinking of like how ridiculous that would be if like there were like some sort of weird like zombie cows that were just like feasting on each other.
zombie cows. That's an awesome.
Well, or the only other time, or like that that even like that idea is mentioned is in the this is kind of a biblical reference, but like the vision that Pharaoh had during Joseph's time.
Right.
Cows eating. Yeah, like
Yeah, the like the emaciated looking cows eat the seven emaciated cows eat up the 7 healthy cows.
Yeah, that's about the only time. I don't know. I find that so funny.
And it's biblical. That's the only that's the only mention ever of zombie cows.
But I think of like all the animals that there could be, it's like it just cows eating other cows. It just seems so like it's funny. I have to say it's funny.
Yeah. Right. I mean, but I just don't particularly put humans at the same level as cows or pigs or chickens or any other type of live food animal.
Yeah, I don't either, obviously.
I mean, because I'll just say this, like, it's okay. The very day that animals start protesting outside of prisons to save human lives, death row inmates, that's the day that I become a vegan. The very day that you see animals outside with protest signs protesting, the death penalty, that's when I start being a vegan.
Yeah, I think that's which means never, which is a good thing, and
right? Because I mean, because they're saying that saying that humans are above animals is speciesism, and like it's not recognizing other levels of sentience. I'm just like all right, well, name me the top 5 technological advancements of cows. Name me the 5 greatest works of art by chickens.
Can't really think of any.
Exactly. So then they're not on the same level.
I will say this: the chicken is known for the chicken scratch. It's they pretty much the writing formation of doctors. That's what chickens are known for.
Right. Okay. Fine. If you want to go then I still require 4 more. That is my standard. That's my standard. Okay? If we're gonna even if I were to allow that, that's only 1. I need 5. The top 5 works of art by chickens.
It's.
What are the 4? What are the 5? What are the 5 greatest philosophical notions put forth by pigs?
Can't think of any.
Exactly, right? And we're told not to throw pearls before swine, so.
Again.
So yes, you might think I'm a dick, but that's my stance. Okay, you can't equate human intelligence to animals.
You monster.
Right. Yeah, actually, I mean, I think I told the story already, but that's how I got one of those animal rights activists to leave me alone.
By this argument?
Not by this specific argument, but I was just kind of, I didn't want to deal, so and I was late for class. It was right outside my school, and so I was like, coming in and like, hey, excuse me, do you have time to talk about animals? And I was just like, ugh. And I looked at her and I was like, delicious animals?
Nice.
Right? And then like she had like pamphlet in hand, ready to hand to me, and then all of a sudden like she had like this disconcerted look on her face and like just slowly started like pulling back from me.
Oh, that's awesome, Andy.
I know. I was pretty impressed with myself because I came up with it on the fly.
She probably cried
She was
for
like,
that like 10 hours after that.
right? I know she cried about that for sure. Because she was like standing right in front of the gate, and and it was like the gate wasn't open wide enough to where I could just like kind of like bypass her. She was like literally standing in front of the gate. So I had to I think that was I think she did that on purpose so that people would have to engage with her or whatever. But like I had to like engage with her.
I guarantee that's exactly the reason why she was standing there.
Yeah, he's like, sir, do you have time to talk about animals? I was like, delicious animals?
I'll talk about delicious animals.
Yes, I'll talk to you about delicious animals all day. Pig is my favorite.
Yep, mine too.
It actually is. I mean, damn. Yeah, if God didn't want us to eat, pigs, He wouldn't have made them so delicious.
Yeah, you can make pork chops.
Like
good
pork
stuff.
chops, ribs, bacon,
ham,
ribs, pork butt.
God.
Game
pork
over, son. Game over. Yeah, that's what I really miss about. I haven't talked about food in a long time.
We should do that next time.
Yes. Right. Especially if I make donuts, I will definitely discuss the process I went through.
I would love.
Or maybe I'll even save one so I can eat it when we stream next week.
Maybe I'll. Okay, there we go. I'll have some food with me too. I don't know from where.
I know, right? I mean, I have a drink or I have like a soda or something with me. So why not? I'll next week I'll have some sort of food.
Me too. All right, let's do that.
All right. All right, we're already an hour and a half into this. I think this is a good place to stop. Do you have any?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, I don't know if anyone else wants to keep...
Sometimes conversations run a little bit longer than we anticipate.
Right? I mean, yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this show. It's just it goes.
The hilarity of a conservative vegan being a thing.
I know, right? God damn. I think that'd be like a unicorn.
Yeah.
Oh no! It'd be a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Because the possibilities of a Bigfoot existing are even if it's 1%, that's still a chance. So I'm gonna say So a conservative vegan is a Bigfoot.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean you're sure that they don't exist, but there's still that 1% probability.
There's some sort of percentage out there that it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't stop laughing about that. I think that's hilarious. That would be. I want to meet if that person exists. I want to meet them. It's like, why?
I know. It's like, why do you hate yourself? See, why would you deny yourself bacon? Why would you deny yourself hot wings?
I can't imagine why.
Exactly.
God. I don't think I could live without hot wings. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, I love hot wings. Hot wings they're my favorite. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah, like I said, I went out to dinner the other night. Like what did I get? Hot wings.
Yeah, from the triune of meats, beef, pork, chicken. Yeah, I have like a favorite thing about them, like each one. Beef, my favorite is steak. Pork, bacon.
But then there's so many different types of cuts of steak too. Where
I would say, I mean, I like all steak, but of course, ribeye is my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, Andy, this is why we're friends. Ribeye is my favorite too.
I know. Right? If you go to a steakhouse and you're not getting the ribeye, you're a dumbass.
Well, I mean, sometimes you like certain different cuts. Like, the filet mignon is really good.
Yeah, but then
I also like top sirloin. If top sirloin's pretty good.
Okay. I mean, don't get mad at me, but I think I'm starting to feel that filet mignon's a little overrated. I know it can be.
Yeah.
I know it's a really rare cut. It's a really rare part of the animal, but to be completely honest, it's not that
I get
great.
it every once in a while. Yeah. But you can um well, what was it? There's one place where I go to every once in a while. It's
Mhm.
kind of it's a really good restaurant. It's called the Derby,
Mhm.
and they have these really good bacon wrapped fillets, and that's
Mm. Oh,
goddamn, that's good. I would say like that's probably the only place where I would more than likely get a fillet from,
mm.
just because the way that they do it is that's how a fillet is supposed to be cooked. Like it's other
Yeah.
places like that's one cut of steak that's so easy to ruin.
That's probably what it is. I've had like really bad fillets then, because like I've
Yeah,
always
same
had
thing with fried.
because whenever I got fillet, it was always like the banquet hall fillet.
Yeah, oh no, you can't. Nope.
Yeah, so that's
It
probably
has.
what like killed my boner for filet mignon.
Yeah, that and tri-tip is also like it. That's something that's
Oh,
easily
tri-tip is
messed up.
tricky.
Yeah, it's tough to cook and it's really easy to screw up.
Yeah, and the ribeye is a little bit more forgiving. But damn, but it's
Yeah,
like
rib like
but it's like that fat to muscle ratio that makes it so awesome though.
God damn that.
I know when
Yeah,
you get a really good marbled ribeye.
maybe I'll treat myself to a ribeye at some point in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the last good ribeye I had was for my birthday last year, and I made it myself.
Yeah, I got
So good, like two different
last time
salts. I
I had.
used sea salt and Himalayan pink salt. I rubbed it down with some olive oil first. Got like a really good, coated it with the salt. Really good
Oh, yeah.
crust. Did the whole French thing with the butter paste.
That is living, sir.
I know, right? With the rosemary and the garlic. Baste that thing good.
Okay, next week we're gonna talk about food. If we can have an hour on on this.
Actually, yeah, I've been thinking of doing like a cooking show.
You should.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I did start one like 3 years ago for school. Don't anyone ever try to find it. Um, but yeah, I definitely would. Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking about it.
That was actually Lefty Andy. He does exist.
Right? What was it like? Uh, oh my god! Actually, that was when I had long hair too. So
I remember I met you when you had your long hair.
yeah, I kind of miss it.
I think you look good now. You're much more suave.
Yes, I'm more presentable, but yeah, I don't, yeah, I think I pulled it off pretty well. Although
Oh yeah, no.
I probably keep it cleaned up a little bit more. Last time I just let it grow. I didn't get it like trimmed, or I didn't like keep the sides like clean or nothing. I just let it grow out. But also, I did do it for a good reason. Because I did donate afterwards. I did donate my hair to Wigs for Kids. It's one of
Yeah,
those.
no, that's a good
Yeah, it's
thing.
one of those charities that collects human hair and makes wigs out of for kids with cancer. So
Yeah,
yeah, and at the time my niece was diagnosed. So
yeah, no, I think that's a really awesome thing to do
mhm.
because nobody wants to wear horse hair.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. Like there was a time like for 2 years after high school. I just like shaved my head.
Trying to be a gangster.
Not intentionally, but I did give off that vibe. Apparently, that's what my mom kept saying. Like, you look like a gangster. You look like a gangster. I was like, well, people say, people do say I look like you, Mom. So maybe you look like a gangster.
Could be.
Although I don't know. I think I'm a good 50-50 split of both my parents. Even though I used to get that I look like my dad a lot, but I don't really see it.
I definitely look like my mom.
Yeah, I think but I think I'm a 50-50 of my parents. Oh yes, so next week we're definitely talking about food.
Yeah, I think that's a given.
Yeah. Yes, and maybe I'll make a special nocturnal transmission donut.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while, like having like a really good donut, oh man, like that makes the world just taste great.
I know, right? It's like if I could get like a Krispy Kreme fluffiness with like kind of like a little harder outside. Maybe
Yeah,
and like a thicker glaze, almost like brulee glaze. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
All right, you're speaking my language, Andy. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I guess I have to go get a blowtorch so I could sprinkle some sugar on it. And it's like,
there you go.
That's how you do it, folks. All right. We're gonna.
Well, we need to call it so I can go eat now because I'm hungry.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, kind of the benefits of working for yourself. You work when you want. You don't when you want. So yeah, so I have some time, so I guess I'll be making donuts.
Sounds like a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just got some packages of yeast, so.
Oh, gotta put some use to that yeast.
Gotta put those babies to some good use.
Let the dough rise.
Yes, which we call that proofing. Ah, all right. Any final thoughts? Anything? Let's put a nice bow on this.
Yeah, just come and watch my show on Thursday. We're playing a little unknown game called Zelda. I've
never heard of it.
I don't think anyone's heard of it. Just come check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts, and as I share my experiences with that game. Next couple episodes where I was sick. I had started getting sick about that week too, so maybe I won't be as charismatic as I normally am, but still come and enjoy it. And we got a couple more episodes coming that we're going to be filming soon for that. So.
All right, you heard the man. Don't forget to check out Up by Up Down. New episode will be dropping this Thursday. That'll do it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to leave us a comment. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us what your favorite food is. I want to know. What is your favorite food?
Oh yeah, there we go. And then we can have food debate.
Yes, exactly. And we can talk about the awesomeness that is bacon.
Oh God.
Right, and and if anyone talks about vegan bacon, we're kicking you out.
Yeah,
your comment's gonna be deleted.
That doesn't exist.
Right, that's a travesty. That's an abomination. It's an abomination, and don't call it bacon. If it's not coming from a pig, don't call it bacon.
That's a sin
It's
against God.
that debate that I have with my sister about turkey bacon. It's not bacon if it doesn't come from a pig.
Yeah, that's a sin against God. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Travesty. But yes, don't forget to like this. It'll really help us. Help propel, get this video in front of more people. Because YouTube's getting really screwy.
And we do have some big stuff coming, so keep on.
Yes. Be on the lookout. Don't forget to check out the main podcast. The videos should be on the channel page under full episodes, and then we also have excerpts from the main podcast. So if you don't have time to sit through the full length of a normal one, we pulled out the best bits for your convenience. So yeah, again, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for our nocturnal transmissions, and we'll see you next time.